Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? It's Don here, or Levi from Leviathan Gaming. So over the last week or so, there seems to be a recurring theme in my life that has been entering my life over and over again through conversations with friends, with family members, with you guys online, and this happens to be the theme of suffering. Whether it be of a physical, mental, or emotional nature, suffering is really interesting because it's something that every single person struggles with, right? Everybody is suffering to a certain extent. And especially 2020, this year, has just been filled with suffering, hardship, and trial for so many different people. And even though I can personally guarantee you that there have been worse points throughout human history, like this isn't the end of the world, this isn't the worst point the world has ever been in, I can personally guarantee that for most people, this year will be the worst year of their entire life. So before I begin, why don't we start out with some good news? If this year has been the lowest point of your entire life, well then congratulations, that means it can only get better from here. But that doesn't mean that the pain will come to an end. Most of us still have a long way to go before we're in the clear, but it does mean that the hardest parts are done and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That is why this week I figured was the perfect time to discuss how to handle both points of minor and extreme suffering that we will go through throughout our lives. So one of the issues that I see is that most people tend to have a negative understanding of pain. We feel pain, our body aches, our heart hurts, we have a headache, whatever. We don't like it. And our first instinct is to try to bring it to an end as quickly as possible. Now, I'm not saying you need to go like full on emo and enjoy suffering and absolutely just bask in the pain. No, but what I am saying is that we need to embrace it and learn to sit in it in order to grow and become the best version of ourselves. However, this can only happen if we properly process the pain, offer it up, and finally accept it. But the questions that a lot of people ask and the things that a lot of people don't understand is, how do we go about doing this when life is at its lowest point and every day we fight to just get out of bed and we can't seem to push and can't seem to go forward and can't seem to fight anymore? Because trust me, I've been there. And when I've been there, it's been terrible, it's been the worst, and it feels like I'm fighting just to exist. And unfortunately, processing pain, more often than not, is overlooked by people because as humans, our first instinct when we feel something that we don't like or when we experience something that isn't pleasurable, we suppress the issue, we overlook it, and we avoid it for as long as humanly possible. But this is wrong because just like putting the lid on a pot of boiling water, eventually the water's gonna boil over and splatter all over the place. So the best thing to do, instead of suppressing the pain and ignoring it, acting like nothing's going on, be where you're at. Allow yourself to feel in a safe, judgment-free environment, whether it be at home, with a therapist, with friends who you trust, with somebody who you're in a relationship with. Feel your emotions, and that is okay. Cry, scream, question God, grieve, go to the thrift store, buy a vase and smash it. The first thing an animal does when it's hurt is it yelps out in pain. And as humans, we should do that with physical or emotional pain and let out our feelings. As a matter of fact, science and even psychologists agree that tearing up and crying regularly is a great way to relieve stress and keep your head and emotions calm and collected. If you don't believe me, go to Google, go to Bing, and look it up. I guarantee you will be amazed and fascinated by the results and the studies that have been performed on this matter and the results that they have come up with. So that is step one, and obviously step one is a process where it's one step forward, one step back. Maybe you're ready to move on one day, maybe you're fine one day, maybe the next day you fall back and you need to go back to step one, and that's okay. There's no such thing as starting back at space zero. Every single day you go forward, you make progress, and that's something to remember, is that when you get upset again, you're not starting over from the beginning of processing this grief. You're just overcoming another hurdle and just hitting another bump in the road, and that is okay. Step number 2 is to offer the suffering up to God. Now, not many people know that members of the Catholic Church that are still alive on earth are referred to as the church militant. The reason for this is because every single day we are fighting to get to heaven, and we have potent, powerful prayers that we can offer up because we still have the gift of faith. We haven't seen God yet, and therefore our suffering and prayers on behalf of God are amplified, and we have the power to pray for the church suffering, also known as people who have already died and are in purgatory being purified on their way to heaven. Reality is, our suffering on earth and our prayers that go towards the people in purgatory go miles in helping the church suffering get to heaven, because they can't pray for themselves. And when they get to heaven and become part of the church triumphant, or all Catholics and Christians and people who have gotten to heaven and have succeeded in reaching the goal of eternal life, they pray even harder for you in heaven, amplifying the graces that you get in return through this time of suffering. So speaking from a spiritual point, your suffering can go miles in helping people, and you don't even see it. Suffering is one of the most powerful tools that we can use to help people achieve eternal happiness. Now, I don't know what you think when you're going through pain or what tools you use to help yourself make it through it, but this thought is enough to keep me going and to keep me fighting for the Lord continuously, even when it feels like my body and my soul is on fire. The best part about this is that making this prayer to God to offer up this suffering so it doesn't go to waste is to make the sign of the cross, or just say God's name and say, Jesus, I offer up this pain for the souls in purgatory. I offer up this pain for my friend or relative who recently passed away. I offer up this pain for the most forgotten soul who needs these prayers. You have the power to offer up this pain and make a real difference in somebody else's life with it. Finally, the last step that we come to is step number 3. Step number 3 is my favorite part, because this is when you just get over it. Like, I love the pain comes to an end, the hardships is over. It's awesome that you made it through. You get to celebrate and you get to relax. Now, the race isn't over. This too shall pass. You're still gonna run into points of suffering and pain in times when life gets hard. But for now, the fight is over and you could break and relax. Something to be aware of, though, is that it's not always possible to move on from a pain or from a suffering. Say you were in a relationship and somebody hurt you, or say you had a family member who died, right? You are never gonna get over that. And in the long run, all you can hope to do is accept what has happened and learn to live with it. Now, I'm not saying that for the rest of your life, you're gonna be in this tremendous pain and suffering, but you learn to accept it and you learn to live life in a way that is adjusted to that change. The biggest reason why some pains aren't easy to accept or get over, such as death, is because death itself isn't natural and it's not a pain that we as human beings are meant to experience. But that is a topic for another video that I promise I would do in the future. Alright guys, as always, I thank you for tuning in this week. I thank you for the support. Comment what you thought of the video. If you enjoyed it, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. I enjoy honest criticism. So this week, the gameplay you see in this direction is from the game Remnant from the Ashes. It is a fun game available on Steam and Epic Games, so if you like the gameplay, check it out. For those of you, though, that are maybe struggling a little harder and feel like you need some extra assistance in going through what you're going through and just processing what's going on in your life right now, in the description, I have included some resources for tools that you can use to get help you need and get support you need. And if you feel like you need that, feel free to reach out and use those tools, because there's no shame in using the gifts God has given to you. As always, guys, thank you very much. God bless, and I'm praying for you.
Some behind me.
Alright, run.
I'm infected. I'm coughing. Hell's that?
There you go.
Don't I have a? Oh God. I did not agree to this.
Oh, this is the easy guy. Okay. Cool.
I was not the one who stepped through the puddle of milk on the wall. I'm now in the.
This boss battle, the key is you gotta use sound.
Try to use the what?
You have to use sound.
The sack?
Like, I like to listen to music while I game, and I had to literally turn off all music. So you see how he has 4 health bars?
Uh-huh.
Every time we defeat one of his 4 health bars, he's gonna call in those little guys. So you see we got halfway through the next one, so he's calling him in for the second time.
Yep.
No, I'm down. You got it. Focus on killing him. If you can revive me, it's to fight him.
Oh no.
Are you out of ammo?
I have ammo.
Yes! Go. Through that door.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh no. I'm gonna die. I'm going to die!
He's still dead though.